Hey, what's up, guys? This is John from TheUndercoverBrony, and I am here with an individual who has been in the Brony fandom, well, at least making YouTube videos for less than a year, and has already gained pretty good following. CXCD, how are you?
I'm sitting at a good 5 out of 10 right now. Don't worry about it. I'm great. You know what? I'm gonna feel even better when I grab this. Hold on.
There you go.
No, I'm not done, son. Oh,
There you go.
in my state, this is legal. Don't worry. Taking a shot before I do this. Oh, it smells like shit. Here we go. Just so I can get this over with, man.
Something to deaden the pain inside.
I would never do this on my own channel. No worries. Shit. Oh, shit. My sinuses are clear now. There you go. Oh, that tasted like soda bourbon. It's bourbon whiskey. All right. I'm ready to begin when you are, amigo.
All right, here we go. So, the first question I have for you, I ask everyone this because it's always such a fun question. But what is your brony story? How did you get into the fandom?
All right. So I was writing these questions out last night, and dear Lord, this is going to be a while. I'm going to take another fucking hit. Oh, fuck. When I was 6 years old, and yes, I did do the math, and I think that checks out, I caught the very first episode of Friendship is Magic. I don't know if it was the very first episode, or if it was a rerun, but the point is, I saw it on TV. Being a toddler back then, I remember sitting on the living room floor, looking up at this big plasma TV, and I specifically remember the scene where Twilight has a pillow over her head and Spike has a lamp on his head. I vividly remember that. I was fucking 6. That was so long ago. But I remember it. And me getting into I guess I was like indoctrinated by this fandom, I guess. Me getting into the fandom was a sort of forbidden fruit moment where my mom saw me watching it and she didn't want me watching because it's a girls show, right? And she flipped the channel. And that was like, oh, you don't want to watch it? Well, now I want to watch even fucking more now, innit?
Yeah, it's sort of an act of rebellion sort of thing.
I was a really stubborn person then and now. I'll take a shot to that. So I was a really stubborn person back then and now, I suppose. And the way I really discovered it was through YouTube. I was fucking 6, dude. I was a baby toddler. Specifically, I got into the fandom from Brony's React. They were reacting to Friendship is Magic, and I wasn't even really there for the Brony's React part. I was there for the show that was like had clips throughout. I was watching the show. I didn't even really question why grown men were reacting to Brony or were reacting to Pony. I just kind of thought, cool, more people like me. I didn't realize it was like even a movement till much later. I think I just kind of got lucky with the show. I mean, it could have very easily been the Barbie movie, right? And I would have immediately lost interest after watching a few clips on YouTube. But because it was the Brony fandom and the Pony show, there was a lot of people who verified my interest, I guess. I wasn't really in the fandom as much as I was just an observer. I mean, I was literally 6 or 7 years old. I couldn't add much to this area. But I was there for the Bronies React. I listened to The Living Tombstone and Wooden Toaster. One thing I very, very distinctly remember is even listening to an audiobook version of Past Sins. You know what Past Sins is?
Yo, yes. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Bitch.
That brings me back, dude.
I loved that fan fiction so much that I even printed 50 pages of it on my printer back then. And I got so embarrassed I hid it behind the ice box and then threw it away like a few months later. But I fucking loved that story. I was the kid who would never ever read their homework or like fall behind in class, and I was reading a 200,000 fucking word story at 6, right? That's the power of ponies. Being so young in the fandom was interesting. I don't really remember much, but I very much remember discourse on whether kids should be allowed within conventions. And I remember watching like or reading forums on it. Fucking, I was like 7. I remember reading forums on it and going like, yeah, kids shouldn't be allowed in conventions. And I was a kid too. I didn't even realize that they were talking about me. You've been on this fucking platform for like 11 years, dude. That's insane. You interviewed M.A. Larson. That's insane.
Well, that whole story is funny in and of itself because that was the first convention I had ever been to, and it was a brony convention. So we're doing interviews kind of outside in the convention area, and one of the staff comes up and they were like, "You guys have press passes?" And we're like, "What?" And they were like, "Come with us." So they brought us into con ops, and they're like, "Here's press passes. You can use another room to actually do these interviews." And we're like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it. Why not?" And then I knew that M.A. Larson was going to be there, and I was so excited about that because throughout the entirety of the show, M.A. Larson continued to be my favorite writer in the entire series.
M.A. Larson is like, at least while I was outside of the Brony fandom, which I'll get into in a minute, M.A. Larson was like the only writer who I consistently knew, just because he was that big of a name in that community, right? I just knew of him because he was such a monolith of a creature.
And what's really interesting is, if you noticed further down in that playlist, there's another interview we did about his book, Pennyroyal Academy. It's so funny because this was TruckCon 2014. So it was that summer of 2014. And I meet him again in the bathroom of all places.
Oh, that's weird.
And so we're washing our hands, and he looks at me, I look at him, and I'm like, "I don't know if you remember me or not." He's like, "I do. I do remember you. Tell me how." And I said, "We did an interview with you at Midwestria 2012. He's like, "Holy shit, dude, that's awesome." I'm like, "You want to do another one?" "Fuck yeah, let's do it."
That hurts me physically. It's great that you got another interview, but dear Lord, meeting somebody in the bathroom is the worst place imaginable.
Cringe as fuck, just like the entirety of this fandom.
The day I left the fandom, because I did, for a long period of time, I left the fandom. I don't remember how old I was, but we went to, I think it was the world's biggest Christmas store in Frankenmuth, Michigan. And I asked my mom to buy me a Twilight Sparkle plush. She did, but you have to understand, my parents are hyper-conservative, Trump-loving motherfuckers, okay? They were not happy with me. They were very much not happy with me. The resulting fallout of them, buying me this was enough where I was like, I'm over it. I put the fedora on the hat stand and walked away from the fandom.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because while it wasn't as similar as my parents' reaction, but my parents are also, hyper conservative and Christian fundamentalists, and everything that's not of God is the devil, blah, blah, blah. And what's so funny is when I mentioned to my mom that I was going to Midwestria, she was just like, "You sure there aren't going to be a bunch of pedophiles there?"
Holy fuck. My parents are much more where they don't realize it's a fandom and things it's just like a weird phase with some girls' TV show. They don't realize how big this is. So what I just described was my first introduction to the Brony fandom, right? My second one, because I had a second one, was in middle school, 2018-ish. In band class, I met a student. Let's call him Jason. Jason was a socially awkward kid who may or may not shoot up the school in the future. I mean,
he's that quiet kid that you always want to keep an eye out for.
I was actually friends with a lot of people like that. I knew one kid who's not Jason, who knew so much about guns, I was genuinely concerned. Me and Jason hit it off pretty quickly, and Miss Breezy, the YouTuber?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I watched Miss Breezy, and he watched Miss Breezy, and so that eventually evolved into, oh my god, we're both bronies, even though I've not been in the fandom for literally since like season 3 at that point. And around that time, Miss Breezy made her first of many I'm retiring videos. We were both motivated to be like, we're gonna become the next Miss Breezy, you and me together. And so we started making Gmod videos at June 2018. And during the setup of that Gmod video, we both quickly, in under 10 minutes, made OCs for the video, and that's where Alpine came from. That's my profile picture. That's Alpine. That was 10 minutes before a Gmod recording session. And me and him had our own YouTube channel, and we made videos until June. I have the dates here. June of 2019. So barely over a year. But what made me split off from him was when I realized he wasn't a very good person. Because we had a private Minecraft server, and I discovered that in a bubble column elevator, at the top of the bubble column elevator, there's a sign to block the water flow. And he written the hard R on that sign. just casually. And he was a pasty white guy. So I had a conversation with him over Steam of all things. I don't know why we didn't do Discord, but off of Steam, we had a conversation, and we just eventually evolved into a full-blown argument where we both ended up blocking each other. And so that was the second time I left fandom with this time an even sourer taste in my mouth. So I'm like, damn it, that was really bad. At least we started a YouTube channel together, and that YouTube channel went on for 5 years and only ever got like 300 subscribers. It was so bad.
No. This is not how it starts. 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 No.
What do you mean?
Still running. What do you think I mean?
It's soul destroying to put out content every week that nobody watches. 60 views. It pisses me off. I watched other people like I guess wasn't PewDiePie. I don't know. I watched other YouTubers who would drop their first channel and make a second channel, and that second channel was when they got really popular. I didn't want to do that for the life of me, but eventually I was like, fuck it. But
Yeah, this one's very similar. I have a personal channel that it's gone through a bunch of different phases throughout its life, but I've had it since like 2008.
oh damn, you're one of the first, huh?
Yeah, and I was doing videos, only got about 130 subs through the entirety of that time. So soul crushing to say the least, especially because I was doing like Let's Plays and stuff like that.
I mean, you're still fucking going, so you're doing something right.
Yeah, and then I do this in 2012, and within, I want to say like 3 or 4 months, we already got like to 100 subs, and I'm like, where did this come from?
I love that feeling of waking up in the morning and being like, what the fuck?
The best part of waking up is screaming, what the fuck?
I had a few of my videos get like 100,000 views, and every single time I'd wake up and be like, so I just made the entirety of what my old channel made in like under a night. Fucking blows my mind. I want more of that. That's the closest I've ever been on crack cocaine. So now we get to my most recent and this current pony obsession. In school, I always wanted to be a story writer. I wanted to write a big-ass novel or something. And I had zero experience. So what I would do is I'd write a billion first drafts of chapter 1 and chapter 2 and then restart the entire story. And it was just a vicious fucking cycle. Because I didn't know how to write. And so this is 2021, late 2021 actually. And one day, because we know we're all conservative here, I was riding my four-wheeler around my property for fun. And I had this fucking song lyric just randomly stuck in my head. And I just could not figure out the song lyrics, so I purposely stalled my four-wheeler. I got off it, and for 10 minutes, I browsed YouTube Googling song lyrics to find this fucking song. It was fucking Prototype WIP by Wooden Toaster. And of course, I looked at that, and I'm like, oh, Brony song? Man, I don't want to listen to a Brony song, but I fucking did it anyway. That was the most magical four-wheeler ride I've ever had in my life. I just fucking I listened to that, I listened to fucking Awoken, Beyond Her Garden. I just kept going down the list, and I was like, I'm fucking back, baby! It was crazy. That night, I got off my four-wheeler, I went to bed, and I rediscovered Past Sins. And I started reading it, a 200,000 word fucking novel I started reading again. I spent about the next week straight rereading Past Sins. It was crazy. Rereading Past Sins was probably the closest feeling I've ever had to crack cocaine without actually doing crack cocaine. So I just made the entirety of what my old channel made in like under a night. Fucking blows my mind. I want more of that. That's the closest I've ever been on crack cocaine.
Which one is it then?
I had this insane feeling as I read the fucking 200,000 word novel. I would read it in between classes at school. I would read it in the bath. I would go to bed reading it and then go to sleep excited to wake up and read more of it. It was fucking crazy. It felt like I was doing hard drugs. Like, it was insane. I was addicted. And then I got COVID for the first time in my entire life. And I had to stay home from school, obviously. But that also means I had the ability to read the sequel, Winter Bell. And I was reading it so much that I hospitalized myself. Because when you're sick, you're dehydrated, right? I was reading it so much I basically forgot to drink water. Basically. And I was feeling so bad. I went to the hospital and they're like, "Dude, how do you forget to drink fucking water?" I was just so focused on reading, I forgot to drink water and had to get an IV drip in and an entire bag of saline in my veins. It was crazy. Around that time, 2021, 2022, I said, fuck it, I was back, and I started watching pony YouTubers. I bought the first season on iTunes, I reinstalled Gary's Mod, and I played with my current friends as a fucking pony with BPM2. Oh! Holy fucking dumbass! Oh, I'm stuck in the plank! I'm stuck in the plank! Help me! Get me out of here. Oh, okay, we're good. We all start with 5 lives. You've lost 1. I realized if I want to write a novel, I need experience. And I thought, hey, fan fiction. That's a great idea. Nobody will fucking care, right? Wrong. I started caring. Anyway, I wrote my first story to Walk Again, and it was my very first fan fiction. It was super bad, bottom of the barrel fucking slop. But that was the point. I wanted to get experience. I wanted to figure out how to do this. So I just kept writing, and I realized I started caring too much. And so I started actually writing things that I was actually trying. So basically, after my first ever story was like, I'm actually trying to write fanfiction now. The thing is with this fandom is that I've not actually even read all of it, and I even watched all of the show. I've watched like a quarter of it. I don't even watch Friendship is Magic. I just love the fandom that much, you know? I always wanted to be a YouTuber. I had a few false starts, and unfortunately the YouTube channel I was talking about earlier, posting Gmod videos, it was a false start as much as I wanted not to be. There's something, like I said earlier, soul grading about posting videos for 5 years. I was fucking 14 when I made that channel, dude. Like, it wasn't until I threw in the towel, said, fuck it, and I said, I'm making pony videos. I started making videos that I actually wanted to make, instead of, like, Gmod videos. And that's where I found something cool. Theories, headcanons, I've made a few animations. My animations are terrible still, but, you know. Mr. Beast wants to be the best YouTuber ever. Cool. I want to be the best pony YouTuber ever. I might have to break a few eggs and make an omelet, dude, but I'm going to the fucking top, man. I might diversify, I might do other things, but if I ever remove my pony profile picture, it's okay to assume I've been replaced by a fucking changeling, alright? I'm not the same person if I ever change that profile picture. I'm not sure if they'll come back to bite me in the ass or not, but it's true. So there it is, finally. Holy shit. The longest... every other question after that is super short. That was the longest question, and it's over.
Moving on, what equipment do you use for your videos?
I use my iPhone 13 mini. And if I ever need a second camera angle, I'll use my original Google Pixel XL, which apparently was a really good camera for its time, but it's been a couple of years, and it's no longer very good. But still, I use that for second camera angles. My microphone here, my bad boy, my love and joy, is a Fifine K669. I've been using it for about 6 or 7 years. I also have a cheap green screen past that wall, and I have 2 5 below floodlights, or no, not floodlights. I have 2 5 below lights. And I dismembered my friend Lysenko's old TV to make it a floodlight. So I have a floodlight as well for the green screen. But don't worry, I love my practical 1980s set, and I'm gonna try to keep it. I'm moving shit around. I'm gonna move it over there, but I want to keep practical sets for as long as I can. I'm making a version 2 of this place in the other corner of the room. So those are my amenities.
Moving on, where do you get your inspirations for your video essays? Are they just thoughts in your head, discussion with others? How do you get your inspiration?
Whenever new content comes out, I'll do this a lot where I'll watch something and I'll think, oh, maybe this could have a different meaning, but I never really thought about it until now, where I'm making videos where I'll see something in a pony or in the show and be like, that could be a video. So I'll notice something that thinks that there's enough evidence that it deserves its own video, like Misty's mom. Fuck it, that was so weird. I was watching Make Your Mark and I kept seeing little things. I'm like, they're trying to imply something here, but I don't know what it is. A lot of things I'll just be doom scrolling Twitter and I'll see something that I think is cool enough to make a video about. It's usually from Equestria Daily, honestly. One thing that I love doing that I've not made enough of is animations. That's where I get a lot of inspiration from, is when I'm doing animations. I started in SFM doing pose to pose. My last animation was hand drawn, which sucked balls. But you know how, like, whenever you listen to like a new song that you really like, you like try to picture like an animation or a music video in your head, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I do a lot. And only recently I'm like, I can make this. I can actually do this. This is crazy. But I'm a really bad drawer, so it doesn't usually turn out. But yeah, that's the gist.
Well, I definitely understand where you're coming from when you were talking about the hearing music and thinking about what kind of video could go with it. The biggest one for me, and I don't know who I would need to contact for this, probably Minty Root is who I would think would probably be the best idea for it, but it would be such an ambitious project. I don't know if you have heard of a musician by the name of the L Train.
No.
Okay, so he did this collab project called Moonrise, and it's a symphonic metal opera.
Metal. Okay.
Yes, but it's like a half hour long. So it would be a massive undertaking if anyone tried to do it.
That would be an entire show. 25 minutes long. God damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that would be like on the scale of a pilot. I don't know, man. I would rather put those resources towards making a pilot to a spin-off of MLP and show Hasbro and be like, "Hey guys, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if we made this?"
So what video type do you prefer making outside of all the ones you've made, such as PMVs, source filmmaker, video essays, reviews, that sort of thing?
Matt Pat videos. The last one I did was, I believe it was the LGBT video where it was hyper edited and it was like Matt Pat but with ponies. I stayed up till 4 a.m. doing that on a school night. I'm not gonna do that again. But it's very high quality. I can do it within a week, but it's soul destroying, and I would rather not. But I love the style. I love how high quality it comes out, and it looks very, very good. But it's just so much work, and I'm really bad at making 2 videos at once, so like multitasking is out of the question for me. It would be Matt Pat videos, but animations are also really rewarding. I would consider my current videos are usually filler until those big videos. So I'll make a few smaller videos like fucking My Little Pony's 0th generation and shit like that until I can work up enough courage or get a good idea for another Matt Pat video. That's why I call him Matt Pat videos. He's part of my vocabulary now.
So basically the way you run things is you have smaller videos to kind of fill in the gaps between the larger, more involved videos.
This is the longest I've ever gone doing videos weekly. Holy shit. I've never done videos weekly until this channel. And it's been like 10 months. Damn.
Would we be able to get any sort of hints on any future videos?
Well, I've been working on an animation called Dum Dum for Izzy, about Izzy. Dum Dum is a song. But my big one that I'm working on right now is an IRL version of Buckshot Roulette. It's just, just put it out there. Those are the two I think I really have. Every other video I ever make, besides the Matt Pat videos, are just by week to week. I'll just wake up in one morning and be like, that's a good video idea. And then I'll just make that in like a day. But no, I don't usually work on videos long term. I have a few long term videos going on that I'll get into later, because another question is more linked to it. But yeah, IRL Buckshot and Dum Dum Izzy.
So I've been asking everyone this since G5 has been going on. But what has been your thoughts on G5?
The original question was, which one's better, G4 or G5? But as the years have gone on, it's become more and more controversial. I'll just say it outright. Fucking G4 is objectively better. Like, I'm not going to sit here, put in my earplugs, and pretend that G5 isn't flawed, deeply flawed, but it is. G5 has its charms, and it has some seriously adult moments that G4 would never even turn their head at. But G5 has been seriously mishandled up to this point. It's like the IP is in the middle of an ugly divorce, almost. And the content we've gotten so far has been ugly, to say the least. It has ups and downs, but the ups are just so much less frequent than the big fucking downs. G5, like I said, does things that G4 would never do. Like, G5 has the audacity to show a dead Fluttershy's ghost hugging a grieving Discord in the comics. And it had the balls to show an abuse victim reuniting with her long-since separated dad. Both things G4 would have never done. With E1 being sold and declining revenue, layoffs, internal politics, G5 is a fucking hot mess. I have hope, however misguided, that G5 will be great again. The movie was fucking amazing. And a few episodes and a few of the chapters were outstanding, but fucking... I mean, I joined the I rejoined the fandom for the 3rd time after the movie already came out, so I was not there for the see you later G4 and shit like that, and I was excited. I really hope that Hasbro either goes back to G4 to make spin-offs, not to reboot it, do not reboot it, and do not continue FIM. I really hope they go back to G4 to make a spin-off, or they soft reboot G5 starting from the movie and try again. I think both of these are really unlikely. Most likely, either MLP would just be canceled and dead forever. But Hasbro's been making G4 merch again, so who knows? I mean, fucking Hot Topic is coming back to life with G4 merch.
And that's the unfortunate thing, because this has been the only show the only piece of media that I've seen which actually made me question myself and be like, why the fuck am I still watching this? The big oof that was the original Make Your Mark special, Chapter 1.
That was so bad.
Oh my god. I was thinking, this is 40 minutes of my life that I will never, ever get back.
It got better later, but they fumbled it so hard out of the gate, it basically just killed all trust they had with the fandom.
Like, I had low expectations already. Because I'm like, they're not going to have as big of a budget to make the animation good. They're going to hopefully make it okay. And then I watched it, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Really bad. I have theories on why this first special, or the first few chapters at least, came out like that. The thing about making theories like that, though, is that these are real people who actually existed and have made decisions, unlike, theorizing about a series. A few of my theories is that I think the most likely one is that Make Your Mark got handed off mid-production, and the new company was like, oh, fuck, what do I do with this? The second theory is just low budget, low time, and the third theory is, and the one that I made a video about was, the one that I like to subscribe to, because I think it has a reason why G5 came out as shit as it did, was, Discovery Family fucking beat down to Hasbro's door and said, no more G4 in your shit, and they had to basically just restart production, like, a few months before the fucking show was supposed to come out, and that was like, oh, shit. That's my theory, my game theory on why Make Your Mark came out so shit. Like I said, it has its charms, and I like it, but goddamn, Hasbro only cares about money, and it really shows.
Like, I still ascribe to the fact that Portrait of a Princess is like top tier G5.
In my headcanon, and I mentioned that in the video again, my headcanon on why that came out why it came out so good was because it's one of the only episodes that didn't get like completely restarted to production. But it also could just be because the episode had a good script, and most of the shots were in a cave, so it was really easy to animate. I'd like to think that G5 failed because of outside factors, but the reality is it probably failed just because it was mishandled. I don't like that idea, but it's the most likely one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the sort of situation where they were just having to deal with crunch constantly. And it's like, what can you really do at that point?
I heard that a lot of employees in Hasbro were asking to get transferred to the Make Your Mark team after E1 got sold, and Hasbro just said no. Because there's a lot of people who work there who were apparently big fucking pony fans, and when Make Your Mark was getting made, they're like, hey, I've worked on MLP my entire career here. Can I go there and work on MLP? And they're like, no. Nope. Go somewhere else. Go work on fucking Transformers. I don't know. There's been a recent leaker who I think is fucking hilarious. This is breaking news, and maybe my next video. Hasbro just recently had a leaker come out and release a bunch of unreleased songs that will be in Tell Your Tale later this year. And what's funny is they made an account on Equestria Daily just called My Little Pony, like they're an official brand account. And it's really funny going to the Equestria Daily comments and just seeing them, and I'm like, does Hasbro have a fucking Equestria Daily account? What the fuck?
Are they creating their own FBI, own NSA for the Brony fandom now? FBI, open up!
That's right, they're in the fandom, motherfuckers. No. But it was really funny to go down and see, like, this just looks official. This is just an official account spreading unreleased music. Like, it's so fucking wild.
So, moving on to conventions, have you been to any? And if so, which one has been your favorite?
Okay, so this comes in with the other question about my long-term videos I'm making. Conventions, I've never been. I committed the cardinal sin of being too young to go to BronyCon when it closes doors. I told myself that if I ever had a chance to go to another con, I would. And that opportunity is looking at me right now with BabsCon 2025 as its final year. The plan is I'm going. This is my plan. I like cars, and I don't like the fucking super fast race cars. I don't like Lamborghinis and luxury SUVs. I like the weird ones. I like the Beetle, or the Yugo, or weird fucking Chinese imported cars that like fall apart after 10,000 miles. I like the weird cars. And my dream car is a Pontiac Fiero. You know what that is?
Yes. Oh, yes.
A Pontiac Fiero is a really bad car.
It's famously bad, but that's why it has charm.
It's super fucking bad. It basically, the Pontiac Fiero came about by somebody begging the higher ups at GM to make a car for so long. They said, hey, if you want to make a car, have this minuscule budget as a kind of go fuck yourself moment, where it's like, hey, have this tiny itty bitty budget and fucking make it work then, asshole. And they did. They made a car on a fucking shoestring budget and it worked. And that's why it came out so bad. I plan on buying my dream car, a 1984 Pontiac Fiero. Because the 84s are, like, internally completely different cars than the 85s. Like, they made the 84, realized they fucked up, and redid the entire, like, interior. Or not interior, internals to make it not shit. So the 84 is the one I want. I want to buy that Pontiac Fiero, spice it up, make it look factory, and drive it to Babscom, which for me is, like, over a day away. And I'll make videos about it every step of the way. I bought my dream car. I'm fixing my dream car. I'm going to Babscom, whatever. And then at the very end, making one very large, like, documentary kind of video as a salute to Babscon, I suppose. I already hit a roadblock as my current car, my Trailblazer, is trying its hardest to die right now. I had to... Its ball joint bearings are going out. The frame is rusted to shit. Just out of nowhere. Like last year was totally fine. This year, I had to replace the power steering pump. That fucking sucked. And now I got to replace the belt retainer clip. It's trying to die. Never had any issues until now, but right now, right as I'm trying to save it for a Fiero, it's fucking beating the shit out of itself. But now I gotta buy. I'm gonna buy a Buick Park Avenue Ultra, just because it's a fucking weird car. Once again, I don't like fast cars. I like the weird ones. All right. So thank everyone on YouTube for watching, because they're helping me afford a new car.
So the final question I have for you is, where can people find you? What are your socials?
CXCD on YouTube. Go there and press the subscribe button. It's big, it's red, and if it's red, you're doing something wrong. Make it not red. Actually, I believe today, I've not checked yet, so it might not be there yet, but I believe I've hit 9,000 subscribers today. I don't know if that's really big for a brony channel, like focused on pony content, not like Black Griffin, who's doing all his other shit.
Considering the state that the fandom is in, you're doing extraordinarily well.
I'll just go back to what I was saying earlier. I'm just trying to be the best brony YouTuber, period. I'm gonna have to topple a few thrones to get up there, but I'm trying my hardest here, bud. I mean, now that college is over, I'm putting all of my mental effort into a pony channel. My parents still don't know what I'm doing, by the way. I don't fucking...
Mom, Dad, I make money on YouTube.
No, I had to tell her I was doing something YouTube related so she could help me sign up for ad revenue. But she saw that first paycheck and she was like, oh, okay. I'll leave it be then. Whatever you're doing is working. Keep doing that. I'm like, okay.
Well, thank you so much for coming on for this interview. This was probably one of the funniest ones I've done in a long time. This was great.
I try.
So, until next time, that's it from me, John.
I'll see you everybody later. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Sayonara. Goodbye.
Peace out, Dragon.